So the reason I brought that up was because in 1948 they did a study with epilepsy with cannabis, and they had an 85% success rate, and it was buried. So my little sister's life could have been completely different. And now my little sister is 45 years old. When she was a teenager, she was a big, tall, lanky teenager. She was mentally disabled from oxygen being deprived to her brain because of the seizures. But she loved to swim and play pool and dance. And she was brought up by parents who thought they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, which is following medical advice. And they came from that generation. And Elizabeth was not supported in her independence. And instead of dealing with the situation and respecting her needs, she was put on more drugs. And she was put on a drug called clozapine. And clozapine's been around since the 50s. And basically what it is it's a parasympathetic nerve inhibitor. So basically it just kind of dulls the person. And when she was in her late 20s, she was a CAMH, and they would not let her out without giving her this terrible, terrible drug. And it's like watching a loved one be slowly poisoned to death. And when her, the parasympathetic nerves are basically, all your small muscles of your involuntary systems in your body, like your intestines and your heart and your lungs and your esophagus to swallow food. And I begged my mother to take her off of this, because soon after taking this drug, she could not lift her neck and barely walk. Now, my first question is, if she was mentally disabled, do you think they would allow these side effects to be okay? I don't think so. The normalization of these insane side effects. How is it that they can approve a drug for Hodgkin's lymphoma, but the side effect is leukemia? How is that even allowed?
Shame!
How is that normal?
It's
not normal, it's shameful. And so eventually, of course, her intestines gave out, and then she started getting lung infections, and then she couldn't swallow. And when I found a death warning by intestinal obstruction on Health Canada and showed it to my mother and had it translated into her language, and she brought it to her doctor, what did they do? They follow what Health Canada tells you to do to treat the symptom. So it's an on-ending, never-ending side effect after side effect being treated without getting to the heart of the problem. And so now Elizabeth, her esophagus started going, and so now her life is being fed through a tube in her stomach and basically bedridden for the rest of her life. She's been in ICU for 3 months without visitors. She's got the mindset of about a 7-year-old, so I don't even know she understands why her family can't be with her. So but what I love about Elizabeth is that she's amazing. We have a very special connection, and I can enter this place where we lock eyes, and she just beams love at me, and it's just a private, it's a powerful message to me that no matter your circumstances, you can pick, you can choose to be happy, and that was a really valuable lesson to me. And what I think has been amazing here at this protest is the way that is the acknowledgement of that. Well, first of all, the idea of mothers against distance is an important one, because the archetype of mother and child What is more sacred than that? What I learned in my 20s is that divinity is not up there. Divinity lives right here. The fact that we can get the nutrients we need from the earth and clean water, all of that is divine. And that is what is being demonized, and that is what this war is about. And so I encourage you to share your stories. I encourage you to talk to your doctors. And I want to thank all of you for doing your duty here, which is showing up. This right here is a spiritual process, because you are showing up, and it's going to take all of us. And I want to thank you for inspiring me to put my best foot forward. And I invite you to do the same, and I'm ready to continue to do this with you. Thank you.
All right, everybody, we got a couple of little announcements, and then we're going to have Lamont come up here. First one, Krishna, please. And there's people, I know everybody's in a rush to get on.